3 things that could kill a relationship. Number 1, you hop in a relationship and you forget who you are. At the end of the day, you still gotta know who you are. Y'all are 2 different worlds coming together, and this is why also it's so important whenever you single to really be working on yourself and really finding out who you are. So whenever you come into a relationship, it's 2 whole worlds coming together. And the best way that you could be the best for the person that you with is being the best you. Make sure that you don't build your whole identity around this person. If y'all separate, if y'all are, not saying if y'all break up, but if y'all are separated, you don't even know what to do with yourself, because all your likes is this person likes, all your dislikes is this person dislikes. You gotta make sure that you keep your independence to a certain extent. That's how a relationship grows, because a lot of people get into a relationship, they become each other's worlds. They look around and it's like, hold on, this don't really seem like the person I started dating, because it's not. A lot of people forget who they are. It happens without realizing it, so you gotta be pretty intentional about that.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of ties into, you know, what we were talking about yesterday. Like, God has to be the foundation, because when you know who the foundation is in your relationship, like, you're gonna remember who God created you to be, who God has said you are. So, because it's easy, like, when you start a new relationship, like, the newness and, you know, the excitement of, you know, having your person, it can get to the point where you get consumed by just being with that individual, and you lose sense of, you know, the fact that you're still your own person. So it's like how you were saying, like, when y'all are separated, like, you don't know what to do with yourself, because everything you've been doing is with that person. It's like you still have to know that you have still keep up with your hobbies, you know, that it's okay, you know, because, like, I feel like in today's society, like, that's the norm, you know, like, quote unquote toxic relationships are the go-to. Like, oh, if he's not obsessed with me or she's not obsessed with me, like, I don't want it. But it's like, that's not healthy, and that's not what we should be striving to do.
Yes, and just because somebody's obsessed does not mean that they love you. You know what I'm saying? So that's a whole topic in itself, though. But don't get that twisted. Don't get people with somebody being obsessed with you and then somebody being in love with you. Don't get them confused, you feel me? Second thing that could really kill a relationship is lack of communication / understanding. Lack of understanding. And something that ties into this, every disagreement does not have to be an argument. It's not even about trying to prove somebody wrong. It should always be you trying to get understanding. Say I do something that might upset you, and then this thing upsets you, and then you communicate that to me, then I'm like, I'm gonna prove you wrong of why you should feel this, why you shouldn't feel like this. Mm-hmm. That's a toxic trait that it's easier to talk about than to apply, you know.
You're working on it. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, a lot of times we automatically go into defense mode, but you with somebody
to respond, not to
understand. Not to understand.
I had that really bad. I just had to have the last word.
Just had to have the last word. And if she had the last word, it was gonna be something smart too, like.
I don't care if it didn't make sense. I just had to have the last word.
If you with somebody that you truly want to go far with, you can't just, what's the word I'm looking for? Dismiss somebody's feelings. Now, of course, we're not supposed to be led by our feelings, but you can't just dismiss somebody's feelings. It's not just about getting the last word. It's not about winning an argument, but it's about getting understanding. Always remember that it's not y'all two against each other. It's y'all against the problem. You know what I'm saying? And y'all got to get to the bottom of that. And in order to get to the bottom of that, y'all got to hear each other out. Just because it don't offend you, don't mean it won't offend the person you with. And you got to put yourself in that person's shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, and like, too, like, God's gonna have situations arise either for your sake or the other person's sake, you know? You never know if the situation you're just trying to dismiss is actually something that the person you're with has to deal with, you know? And since you chose to be with that individual, it's now kind of your responsibility to help them in a sense, you know? And what comes to mind is, I don't know if you remember that night that we kind of had like a disagreement where I was telling you how I felt about something and you just kind of kept trying to like push the fact that, oh, but we're not led by our emotions. Like, you're not supposed to be
Yeah.
led by your emotions. And it got to the point where I told you, like, can you just be human with me for a second? Because it, like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be led by my emotions, but that was something that God had brought up for me to deal with.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I didn't need you to be, you know, Bible guy, like just smashing me across the head with, you know, scripture and stuff. Like, I needed you to be my support.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's important to know, like, okay, and discern, like, what the situation is. Like, is it something for you to, you know, be a Bible person and be like, okay, you know, like, now you're taking it too far, or see that, okay, this is something that they need to deal with.
Yeah.
Help them out.
Yeah.
And like I told you, you know, like I don't need you to tell me that I'm just being too emotional. I need you to come down and be human with me for a second.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And I think that was something that also helped you realize, like, okay, like, dang, like, I'm really in a relationship with an emotional human being. Because you weren't emotional at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's like too. That's actually leads to the next point. But you,
Look at that.
hey, whenever you get into a relationship, understand that it's going to be times that you say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like, it's going to be times where you do something that you shouldn't have had, that you probably shouldn't have done. Like, you gonna probably disappoint your partner. Like, it's gonna happen. But if you open-minded to learning from it, y'all gonna continue to grow, and it's a part of learning how to love each other. You gonna bump heads. It's not the end of the story. It's not the end, bro.
Like, you have to remember, like, just like you're not perfect, the other person isn't perfect either. Like, you can't expect something out of them that you yourself don't have.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't expect you to know how to handle that situation when you weren't equipped at the time.
Yeah.
To deal with stuff like that, because you never had to, you know?
Yeah.
You never allowed yourself to be led by your emotions in a sense like that. So it's like, I kind of just threw a curveball at you and was like, here, deal with it. So I think it really opened up the door to see where you needed work in. And
Yeah.
it kind of showed you, okay, like, this is an area that she's going to have to, you know, be working on too.
Yeah, and that's a true relationship. Like, you get with the right person, that person gonna pull stuff out of you that nobody else could pull out of you. They gonna grow you in ways that nobody else could grow you. And a lot of times growth is not always just
Comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's not always pretty.
yeah, it might get a little ugly. But
if only we could sit here and be like, oh, it's sunshine and rainbows out
yeah,
here. You know,
if you think
I do.
if you think it's that, hey, get that out of your mind. Get that out of your mind. But that goes back to God being the foundation of your relationship. I know I can't hold this up with my own strength. You see so many relationships fail because that's what people are trying to do. They trying to hold it up with their own strength. And a lot of relationships weren't God led. No man separate who he put together. Hey, I waited. We waited at the right time, you know, we made that move. Spirit led, you know, so.
I just remember not to have like unrealistic expectations of yourself or the other individual.
Yeah.
You know, like at the end of the day, like, we're all still human, you know, the only perfect being is God. And if you're led by him, then, you know, you're still gonna have your mishaps, you're still gonna have problems, but at the end of the day, like, you know where to get the answer from.
Yeah. All right, so this is the last, but it's definitely not the least, is...
And it's really not the last, so we could keep going, but for now it's...
Yeah. You know, this we got a whole channel. Hey, we could spill it out. Trying to avoid those hard conversations. Trying to avoid those hard moments. Holding back to avoid hard moments. The truth is... The truth is, if you in a true relationship, those hard moments are gonna come, you know what I'm saying? And but those hardships are going to come. You know what I'm saying? The only thing you doing when you avoiding it is setting yourself up for failure. Your relationship could never go to the next level. And this is for people who, you know, once you have that hard, that difficult conversation, or you get through that hard moment, y'all grow closer. That's how it be, right?
Yeah.
You grow closer, and it's like that on purpose. The more that you try to prolong that, y'all only gonna grow further until y'all fall apart. Like,
and it's like when you keep avoiding, you know, having those conversations or going through those moments, you're just prolonging the process. Like, if this is the individual God sent to you, like, your process is getting stuck in a cycle because you're not letting God do what he needs to do in order to elevate y'all to the next step.
Yes. If you truly submitted, you eventually gonna have to have that conversation. Like, are you eventually gonna have to go through this, that, and the third? And a lot of the things that you go through could really be necessary for the healing and the freedom that needs to take place in between y'all two. Stuff don't be accidental. Like, this stuff be super, super intentional, bro. Deliverance, cause we talking about this topic.
Whatever, you're tired.
Deliverance. I don't get tired.
All right. I'm gonna have to upload you for me. So, you know, like, unfortunately, you know, like, in this time and age, like, there's not very many people that are walking into a relationship, you know, just with a clean slate, you know. So it's like you're coming in with baggage if you didn't let God deal with that stuff prior to you coming into this relationship. So, you know, it's important to have this conversation so you know what you're dealing with too. Like, that way you're not blindsided, like, when the enemy tries to throw something else at you.
Yeah.
Because if there's something that you don't know about the other individual, then, you know, that can be used to try to separate y'all. Because at the end of the day, the enemy doesn't want you and this person connected because he knows that there's power in numbers. He knows that this person's going to help you grow. This person's going to help you elevate to the next level, and that's what he's trying to stop.
Yeah.
You know, if he can even cause, you know, this little bit of distrust or, you know, insecurity in a relationship, he's going to take that and he's going to run with it. Because if what you don't allow God to, like, deal with and let God heal, then the enemy can use that against you and against the other person, because he's going to come for the weakest link. So if you're avoiding these conversations, if you're avoiding, you know, these situations, like, you have now become the weakest link, because you're not letting God in, you're not letting the person God sent your way to pull this stuff out of you.
And best believe the enemy is so strategic. Hey, it get deep. Hey, more content like this coming. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. We finally moved on it up. Catch y'all in the next one.